Hey there, I'm Mark from Spectrum Pulse, and today we have From NxWorries Why Lawd. So 2016 was a big year for Anderson .Paak, widely considered his critical breakthrough early in the year with Malibu, which was one of the best albums of 2016. He also released a collab project later that year, Yes Lawd, with producer Knxwledge. And in certain R&B circles, it's even more highly acclaimed for the more textured lo-fi production and a soulful sleaze that walks the very narrow line of self-aware charm. Now that was 8 years ago. Since then, Knxwledge has put out literally dozens of beat tapes, and Anderson .Paak has picked up enough popular success alone and with Bruno Mars and Silk Sonic to perhaps not achieve full mainstream penetration, but enough that a side project was going to be more than just a cult curiosity. So now it's bigger, it's got guest features and more refined production, even a short intro from Dave Chappelle, who thankfully sticks to a quick musing about what one might deserve, and we can keep on going, let's not dwell on this. But it also sets off an interesting thematic context where, fresh off a filing for divorce earlier this year, Anderson .Paak seems to be feeling age and the consequences of his lifestyle start to catch up with him pretty hard. The last NxWorries project always had the get your shit together as both subtext and Rick and Morty sampled text, seeing how wild he was acting on record, and now while hearing it manifest and perhaps a deeper, truthful echo, not always a comfortable experience, nor is Anderson .Paak always likable as a narrator, even if Knxwledge was going to sculpt a gently textured, well-sampled, shambling set of soul R&B grooves in order to support him. Overall, the production palette has a fair bit more supple, liquid polish, feeling a lot more consistent in the mixing and the mastering, with the understated drums, the fluid guitar work, and the sampling that's firmly lodged in the 70s, maybe a little in the 80s. Now, the easy and way too obvious comparison to be made is Here My Dear by Marvin Gaye, but compared to the disquieting rage of that project, Anderson .Paak has a lot more weary self-awareness, juxtaposed between his pettier impulses, his attempts to be a single man with probably a lot more success than he needs. H.E.R offers a great complex counterbalance on Where I Go, followed by this stellar 80s inflected smolder on Daydreamin with some killer guitars, and then finally, the unsteady, often backsliding path towards some form of moving on, probably shown most starkly across HereIAm with all the ugly details against the wailing organ. It certainly is something. What's very telling is that despite all the flexing, even Anderson .Paak seems to get that it all feels just like distractions from deeper reflection, to the point of a song with literally the title of Distraction with some really sweet acoustic guitar and saxophone that transitions into a stellar interlude Lookin with terrific cello and bass. But by the end of the album, as death might surround him and his community, he claims he's having the time of his life, but his guilt at that and any introspection still hangs on his soul no matter how much he wants to hide behind the shades, echoed perfectly by Earl Sweatshirt's verse on WalkOnBy. That said, it doesn't always stick the landing. I might like the liquid guitar rollick of KeepHer, but Thundercat just does not have the expressiveness in his vocals to match the energy. Whereas on the flip side, I could have easily used more Charlie Wilson than the fragment used near the end of the album. The entire run of SheUsed to DistantSpace feels very abbreviated in their compositions. And while October London really tries to sell the falsetto on FromHere, Snoop Dogg's spoken word kind of feels a little flimsy, and I don't know why on earth anyone thought it would be a good idea to pitch shift all of the vocals on SheUsed that sound like everyone was huffing helium. I'm sorry, it does not match the J. Kelly sample nearly as much as they might have been hoping. But overall, what this duo gives up in some vigor and verve from their debut, it's replaced by something a little more tempered and thoughtful, albeit not quite mature, with the production picking up a richer sheen to match. Compositionally, it's still a little bit fragmented, even if the flow is immaculate, and this album does more to gesture at deeper insights than actually get there. It's a better wallow with a burst of divorce guy energy than revealing of deeper cores, but when said gestures are being delivered by Anderson .Paak's boundless charisma, even if he sounds more world-weary, he is still one hell of a performer here. Now, I think both NxWorries albums, they kind of feel like side ventures that aren't quite as potent as a solo effort, but they're still really damn solid diversions that are on the cusp of greatness, and if you're looking to really catch that vibe, this is a way to do it. Really good stuff, so yeah, give it a shot. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching. If you want to see more, please be sure to like, share, drop comments, and subscribe. This is quite the album. I'm not sure it's going to work for everyone, but I certainly had a lot of fun with it, and I can imagine it might spark some discourse, specifically among those who are deep in R&B. So if you've got thoughts, please leave them. I'm going to be curious. Beyond that, though, anything else I might be able to do to improve my presentation, I'm all ears. And if y'all want to get involved in helping support the channel in the long term, or arguing with me on my Discord, or coming up soon, getting albums on my schedule, link to my Patreon right over there. Don't feel obligated. Tough times, I understand. The options available. Till then, I'm Mark, you're watching Spectrum Pulse, and I'll see you next time.